My parents have excluded me from every family vacation for over 20 years. You never fit in on trips. It's better if we don't take you. But when I took a 5-star, all expenses paid vacation with my new family, they went crazy. I'm 34 years old, and I just saw the photos from my parents' family vacation on Facebook. Again. My 3 siblings are there, 10 and smiling with their partners and their children. My parents are in the center, hugging them. The caption reads, "Family is everything. Blessed." I don't feel the sharp pain I used to. Not anymore. That pain wore out a long time ago. It eroded into a kind of quiet numbness. Because this isn't new. This has been happening for over 20 years. Let me explain how it all started. I was 13 the first time they said it out loud. It was December, and my parents were packing suitcases in the living room. Big suitcases, the kind for long trips. My siblings were running around excitedly, yelling things about the beach and the sea. Acapulco. They were going to spend Christmas in Acapulco. I came down the stairs with my backpack. I had packed it the night before. Swimsuit, sandals, the disposable camera I'd bought with my allowance. Mom saw me and stopped folding clothes. "What are you doing?" She looked at me as if it were obvious, as if I should have known. "I'm going to pack," I said. My voice sounded small, even to me. Dad came out of the kitchen with a cooler, looked at me, and then looked at Mom. She sighed in that way she does when something annoys her, but she doesn't want to say it directly. "You're not going, sweetie." The words fell just like that, without preparation, without any softness. "Why not?" Dad put the cooler on the floor. "There's no room in the car. Besides, someone has to stay with Grandpa." But it's Christmas." Mom was already closing a suitcase, pressing down on the lid with her knees. "You never fit in on trips. It's better if we don't take you. You'll be more comfortable here. Grandpa will take good care of you." My siblings got in the car 20 minutes later. I watched them from my bedroom window. Suitcases in the trunk, laughter. The dog was going too. Even the damn dog was going. Mom didn't even look back as they left. That's how the pattern started. Every year, every damn trip. The summer of 2010, Europe. 2 weeks touring Spain, France, and Italy. I was with Grandpa, watching National Geographic documentaries about those very same places. Christmas of 2011, a Caribbean cruise. I was eating reheated turkey at his house, which always smelled of coffee and old wood. New Year's of 2015, cabins in the mountains. I was watching the countdown on TV while Grandpa dozed in his recliner. The excuses changed, but the result was always the same. There's not enough budget for everyone. You're more of a homebody, you wouldn't enjoy it. Someone has to stay with Grandpa. You're too complicated to travel with. They never asked if I wanted to go. They just assumed I didn't fit in. And you know what's strange? What my parents never knew. Those weekends they left me with Grandpa became my salvation. Grandpa lived in a small house on the outskirts of the city. He had a huge garden with fruit trees and an old dog named Canelo. The house was always full on weekends. My uncles would come, Dad's brothers, bringing my cousins. Suddenly, that small house filled with a life my own house never had. Uncle Javier would arrive early on Saturday with meat for the barbecue. Uncle Roberto would bring my cousins, Daniela and Mateo. Aunt Lucia always brought desserts and would stay in the kitchen with Grandpa, preparing everything. And they included me in everything. Daniela was my age. We became inseparable. Mateo was 2 years younger, but he was like the little brother I truly wanted. We played soccer in the garden until it got dark. We made forts with sheets in the living room. We watched movies piled on the old sofa. My uncles never asked why I was there and my parents weren't. They never made comments. They just hugged me when I arrived and told me they had missed me. Grandpa was different. He knew. I could see it in his eyes when I arrived with my backpack on Friday afternoons. He knew my parents had left again. He knew they had left me behind, but he never made me feel like I was a burden. He would open the door and say, "Here's my champion." And I knew he wasn't lying. One night, I was about 16, we were sitting on the porch. Everyone else had already gone home. Grandpa was smoking his pipe, something my dad hated, but which I found comforting. "Grandpa," I asked, "why do you think they never take me?" He didn't answer immediately. He let the silence hang there between us. Finally, he said, "Family isn't just blood, my son. Family is who chooses to stay, who chooses to include you, who makes you feel like you matter." He looked up at the stars. "Your uncles love you. Your cousins love you. I love you. Is that family?" He didn't answer my question, but he didn't need to, because I already knew the answer. My parents didn't take me simply because they didn't want to. There was no deeper reason than that. And Grandpa, with his gentle silence, taught me that was okay. That I was okay. The years passed, the exclusion continued, but it no longer destroyed me like it used to. I was 18, 20, 25. I still wasn't invited. I still saw the photos on social media. I still noticed how my siblings had 1,000 shared memories that I didn't. But I had my own. I had the barbecues with Uncle Javier, the late-night talks with Daniela, the lessons from Grandpa. I had a family that chose me, even when the family I was born into didn't. I stopped asking them why. I stopped trying to fit into their trips. I stopped needing their approval. I built my life away from them. College, work, relationships. I did it all with the support of Grandpa and my uncles. My parents would show up at mandatory gatherings, important birthdays, weddings. They acted as if our relationship was normal, as if there weren't 20 years of exclusion between us. And I let them act, because I no longer cared. Until I met Laura. Laura came into my life like a warm hurricane. We worked at the same company. We became friends first, then something more. She had a huge, loud, and loving family. She took me to a family dinner in our second month of dating, and I was overwhelmed by how much they loved each other, by how much they included me without even knowing me. I told her about my family, about the trips, about Grandpa. She cried when I told her everything. Then she hugged me and said, "It's their loss. They missed out on knowing the most incredible person I know." We got married 2 years later. Grandpa was my best man. My uncles and cousins filled half the venue. My parents and siblings were in the front row on the other side, smiling for the photos. But when the photographer asked for a picture of my family, I called over Grandpa, my uncles, and my cousins. That was my family. I saw my mom's face. I saw how she pressed her lips together, but she didn't say anything. She never said anything. Life went on. Laura and I bought a house. I continued to have Sunday dinners with Grandpa. I remained Daniela's best friend. I continued to be part of that family. My parents kept traveling. Now they took my nieces and nephews, my siblings' children. I saw photos of everyone at Disney, in New York, in Canada, the new generation being included. And I was still not there. But it didn't hurt anymore. Seriously, it didn't hurt. Or so I thought, until the invitation arrived. Laura's parents organized a family trip every 2 years. It was a tradition. They would rent a huge house somewhere with a beach, invite the entire extended family, and spend a full week together. I had already been to 2. Playa del Carmen the first time, Puerto Vallarta the second. This time, they were going big. Laura came home on a Tuesday afternoon with that smile that meant something good was coming. She had her laptop under one arm and a bottle of wine in the other. "I need you to see something," she said. We sat in the living room. She opened her laptop and showed me a resort in Riviera Maya. It wasn't just any resort, it was one of those places you see in magazines. Private villas with pools, an exclusive beach, gourmet restaurants, a spa, all inclusive. My parents rented out the entire place for a week, she said. There will be about 20 of us, the whole family. It looked incredible, but I already knew we would go. We always went on her family's trips. Then, Laura said something I didn't expect. I want you to invite your family. I was silent. Your grandpa, your uncles, your cousins, the ones who are really your family. My parents already said yes. There's space, there's a budget, and they want to get to know them better. Seriously, Lau, your grandpa deserves a vacation like this. Your uncles have always been amazing to you. Daniela is practically your sister. I want them to be there, for it to be our complete family. I felt a lump in my throat. Grandpa's getting old. I don't know if he can travel. Laura already had an answer for that. There's a ground floor villa with direct beach access. It has an accessible bathroom. We can request a special wheelchair for the sand. We've thought of everything. Of course they had, because that's how Laura's family was. They included, they thought of others, they made space. I talked to Grandpa that same week. I went to his house on a Friday, as always. Canelo was gone now, he had passed away the year before, but the house still smelled the same. Coffee and old wood. Grandpa, I have a proposal for you. I told him about the trip, the resort, the invitation. I saw his eyes fill with tears as I spoke. I don't want to be a burden, my son. You have never been a burden. Never. You were my salvation when I needed it most. Let me do this for you, for us. He was quiet for a long time. Finally, he nodded. Okay, but only if you also invite Javier and Roberto and the kids. My eyes filled with tears. They're already invited, Grandpa. All of them. I called Uncle Javier that night, Uncle Roberto the next day, Daniela, Mateo, everyone. The reactions were similar, surprise, excitement, gratitude. Some tried to refuse because of the cost, but I made it clear that everything was covered. Laura's parents insisted. I insisted. This was important. This was giving my family what they deserved. 2 months of preparations passed. We made sure Grandpa had everything he needed. Medications, doctor's appointments to ensure he could travel, the special chair, everything. Daniela called every week, excited. I can't believe we're going to do this. I can't believe we're going together. Me neither, I'd tell her, but it's real. The day arrived. We all flew together. Well, on 2 flights, Laura's family on one, my family and me on another. Grandpa was in a wheelchair at the airport, but he was smiling. Smiling in a way I hadn't seen in years. When we arrived at the resort, I was speechless. The photos didn't do it justice. It was paradise white and turquoise blue everywhere. Palm trees, perfect sand, the constant sound of waves in the background. Grandpa just stood at the entrance of his villa, looking out at the sea. I can't believe I'm here, Daniela whispered, crying. Mateo couldn't stop taking pictures. My uncles hugged me and thanked me over and over. I told them they didn't have to thank me for anything, that this was the least I could do after everything they had done for me. That week was magical. We all had breakfast together at the main restaurant. A giant buffet, fresh fruit, juices. Grandpa ordered the same thing every morning, huevos rancheros and black coffee. He would sit at a table by the window and watch the sea as he ate slowly, savoring every moment. We spent the mornings on the beach. They had gotten a special chair for Grandpa that floated in the water. We took him into the sea. At 80 years old, it was the first time he had felt salt water on his feet on a beach like that. I cried. The afternoons were for resting. Some went to the spa, others to the pool. I would stay with Grandpa on his terrace, reading or just sitting in silence. The nights were the best. We all had dinner together, 20 people around a huge table. Laura's family, my family, all mixed together, laughing, telling stories, making toasts. One night, Laura's father stood up and made a toast. To the family we choose, to the family we build, to all of us being here together. Grandpa wiped his eyes. I took pictures, a lot of pictures. I couldn't help it. Grandpa with his feet in the sea, my uncles toasting at sunset, Daniela and Matteo with their kids in the pool, everyone together at dinner. Laura saw me take out my phone for the 10th time that night. "You're going to post something, aren't you?" I hadn't thought about it, but she was right. "I think so. Do it. Let them see what a real family looks like." On the last night, I made a post on Instagram. Several photos, with Grandpa in the foreground in most of them. My uncles were clearly recognizable. Daniela, Matteo, everyone. The caption was simple: vacation with my family. The best of my life. I tagged the location. I tagged Grandpa, my uncles, my cousins. I didn't tag my parents. I didn't even think of them when I posted it. That was either my first mistake or my best decision. I still don't know. What I do know is that my phone exploded the next morning. I woke up to 27 notifications, messages, missed calls, comments. The first ones were from friends. "How amazing. It looks beautiful. Your grandpa looks so happy." Then came the others. "Mom, you're on a trip and you didn't tell us." "Dad, I see you took my father on vacation." My older brother, "Seriously, bro? What's up? Why didn't you tell us?" My sister, "We're all confused. Grandpa is in your photos. Our uncles are there. Why didn't we know anything about this?" I put the phone face down. Laura looked at me from the bed. "It's them." "Yeah. What are you going to do?" "Nothing. Today is our last day. I'm not going to ruin it." But the messages kept coming, and they grew more direct, more annoyed, more accusatory. "Mom, this is disrespectful. Taking your father's family and not telling us." "Dad, I need you to call me now." My sister, "Mom is crying. She says you humiliated her publicly." Aunt Carmen, my mom's sister, whom I never liked, "How nice that you can afford your luxuries and leave your parents out. You were always ungrateful." That comment was public. On my post. Daniela saw it. She sent me a message. "Do you want me to reply?" Because I really want to reply. I told her no, that it wasn't worth it. But then something unexpected happened. Grandpa posted his own photos. I didn't know he knew how to make posts. Daniela had taught him how to use Instagram last year, but I thought he only looked at pictures. He never posted. But there it was. A photo of everyone at the group dinner, another of him on the beach, another with me and Laura at sunset. The caption read, "With my favorite grandson and my sons in paradise. Thank you, my son, for giving me the best days of my life. This is what family means." The comments started pouring in. Extended family, Grandpa's friends, neighbors. "How wonderful, Don Alberto, you deserve it." Then one came from my cousin Andres, Uncle Javier's son, "Well deserved, Grandpa. After so many years of taking care of everyone, finally someone is taking care of you." It was an innocent comment. Or maybe not so much. Andres always knew everything. He had always been there. My mom saw that post. I know because 3 minutes later, my phone rang. It was her. A call. Not a text. I didn't answer. She called 4 more times. Finally, she sent a voice message. I could hear she was crying, but also furious. I need you to explain what is happening. Why is your grandfather posting photos of a trip we didn't know about? Why are your uncles there? Why are we not there? Call me now. Laura put her hand on my shoulder. You'll have to answer at some point. I know. But not today. Today, I just want to enjoy this. We went down to breakfast. Grandpa was already at his usual table, smiling, oblivious to the digital drama unfolding. I sat next to him. Thanks for the post, Grandpa. You're welcome, my son. It's the truth. And it was. It was the truth. But the truth, I discovered, has consequences. We returned on a Sunday afternoon. Grandpa was tired but happy. He had color in his cheeks, energy in his eyes. He hugged me at the airport before leaving with Uncle Javier. Thank you, my son, for everything. Don't thank me. You gave me so much more. Laura and I got home. I had barely put down the suitcases when the message arrived. Mom, in the family group chat, dinner on Friday, 7 p.m. It's important that everyone is there. It is not optional. My older brother, what's wrong, Mom? We'll talk on Friday. Laura read the message over my shoulder. It's about time. I arrived at my parents' house 10 minutes late. Not on purpose. Well, maybe a little on purpose. All the cars were already there. My 3 siblings. Friday at 7, everyone on time. The table was set, an elaborate meal. Mom had cooked chicken in mole sauce, rice, beans, all my childhood favorites. That was a bad sign. When Mom cooked my favorites, it meant she wanted something. We all sat down. No one spoke. We ate in silence for the first 10 minutes. Chewing, cutlery against plates. Someone cleared their throat. Dad asked about my work. I answered in monosyllables. Mom asked about Laura. Fine, I said. Everything's fine. My sister, Anna, tried to talk about her kids. Mom ignored her. Finally, Mom put down her silverware. The sound echoed louder than normal. All right, let's be clear. Here we go. How could you take your grandfather on vacation and not tell your own mother, your own father? Her voice was controlled, but I saw her hands shaking. Dad chimed in, calmer but just as hurt. You took my brothers, your cousins. I found out on Facebook. Do you realize how humiliating that is? My middle brother, Carlos, looked at me, confused. I don't get it either, bro. Why didn't you tell us? We're your family. I took a deep breath. I knew this was coming. I had rehearsed this in my head during the flight back. I took the people who raised me. The ones who were there when you weren't. Mom stood up. Her voice rose. We were always there. We gave you everything: a roof, food, and education. And this is how you repay us. You were in the same house, I said. That's not the same as being present. Dad tapped the table gently. This is ridiculous. You're making a drama out of a few trips. Something inside me broke. The calm I had maintained for years. I don't need to give you a list, Dad, because it was every time. Every damn trip for 20 years. I stayed behind. It wasn't a coincidence, it wasn't bad luck. It was a choice. A choice you made again, and again, and again. Dad opened his mouth to reply, but my younger brother, Diego, interrupted him. We all turned. Diego rarely spoke at these gatherings. Dad, he's right. What? Mom said. Diego stared at his plate. His voice trembled. I remember. I was about 10. We were going to Disney. He paused. I could see it was hard for him. My name. He asked me if I thought he could go this time. I told him yes. I got excited for him. I was so sure. Diego looked at me, his eyes red. When you came downstairs with your little backpack, Dad told you that you were staying with Grandpa again. I saw you crying on the porch as we got in the car. Mom didn't even look back. I never forgot that image. Never. The silence was absolute. Anna, my sister, spoke for the first time, her voice small. I remember it too. It always seemed weird, but we were kids. We thought you guys knew what you were doing. Mom had gone pale. Dad clenched his jaw. Mom tried to regain control. There were reasons. Reasons you don't understand. What reasons, Mom? I've been trying to understand them for 20 years. No one answered. I took out my phone, found a photo, and put it on the table. This is Christmas 2012, Cancun. I see 4 kids in this picture. My 3 siblings and the 6-year-old daughter of your friend Carlos, Dad. You took her, but there was no budget for me. Dad looked at the photo. He said nothing. Did you know that Grandpa has a drawer in his dresser? It's full of drawings I made for him as a kid. Drawings of the family. In all of them, I'm next to him, never next to you. Because even at 8 years old, I already knew who my real family was. Dad finally spoke. Are you using my father against me? I stood up. The chair scraped against the floor. I didn't use him, Dad. I loved him. Which is something you never did with me. Mom started to cry. I recognized the tactic. It had worked on my siblings their whole lives. It didn't work on me anymore. For 20 years, I didn't fit in on trips. You told me that, Mom. Remember? You never fit in. I was 13. But Grandpa made me fit in at his table every Sunday. My uncles made me fit in at their barbecues. My cousins made me fit in their lives. You want to know something else? Grandpa confronted you. When I was 15, he told you that you were destroying me, that you were making me feel like I didn't deserve love. Dad tensed up. He told me years ago. He told you, that boy is going to grow up believing he's worthless, and when he grows up and succeeds, don't you dare complain. And you know what you told him? That he didn't understand, that he should mind his own business, that you knew how to raise your children. I looked at my parents. He saved me from you. He gave me the love you didn't want to give me. And I was able to give him the vacation he deserved. The one we deserved. Mom wiped her tears. We can fix this. We can start over. I shook my head. I don't want your apologies. I don't need them anymore. Dad asked, then why did you come? I came so you would know the truth. So you would understand why Grandpa chose to come with me and not with you. So you would know that it doesn't hurt me anymore. I don't need you anymore. I walked to the door. There will be no family trips paid for by me. My family is Grandpa, my uncles, my cousins, Laura. We can be cordial at necessary gatherings, but don't pretend that I'm important to you now. Diego stood up. F.A. I stopped. I'm sorry. I should have said something all those years. It's not your fault, Diego. You were a kid. I looked at my parents one last time. Take care of Grandpa when I can't. It's the least you can do. I walked out. I closed the door softly. I heard Mom sobbing inside, Dad saying something in a low voice, my siblings talking among themselves. But I kept walking. I got in my car, put my hands on the steering wheel, took a deep breath, and for the first time in 20 years, I felt completely free. Update: my parents tried to call. In the first few weeks, they sent an apology that said, "We're sorry you felt excluded," as if the problem was my perception and not their actions. I didn't reply. Diego and Anna reached out to me. We went for coffee. We talked, really talked, for the first time in years. They understand now. Carlos is still on my parents' side. He says I'm being dramatic. I guess that's how families are. They divide. Grandpa still comes for dinner on Sundays. His eyes light up every time he talks about the trip. He says it was the best gift anyone has ever given him. That makes it all worth it. My uncles and cousins still send photos in our group chat. We're already planning the next trip. Something simpler this time. Maybe rent a house on the beach. The important thing isn't the place, it's who you're with. Laura says I'm happier, lighter. She's right. It's like a weight I've been carrying since I was 13 has been lifted. Someone in the comments asked if I regret posting the photos, if I regret causing this family drama. The answer is no. Because I didn't cause anything, I just uncovered something that had been there for 20 years. And if my parents feel humiliated, maybe now they understand a little bit of how I felt every time they left without me. Will I ever have a normal relationship with them? I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not. Does it hurt a little? I'm not going to lie and say it doesn't. But what I've learned is this: you can love your family and still choose not to let them hurt you anymore. You can forgive without forgetting. You can move on without needing their validation. The family I chose, the one that chose me, is there every Sunday. Every call, every message. I don't need to chase the love of those who never wanted to give it to me. It turns out I did fit in perfectly somewhere, it's just that place was never with them. And that's okay. It's finally okay. Sometimes the family we're given by blood isn't the family we need. And it's okay to build your own tribe, to surround yourself with people who choose you every day, who make you feel like you deserve a place at the table, in the photo, on the trip. You don't have to keep begging for a spot in the lives of those who never made space for you. Real family doesn't exclude, doesn't condition its love. It makes you fit, not because you're perfect, but because you're you. And when you finally find that family, whether by blood or by heart, protect it, celebrate it, take it to the beach. Because they are the ones who deserve to be in your best moments, not the ones who left you out of theirs. If this story touched your heart, if you identified with the exclusion or with the hope of finding your true family, don't forget to subscribe to Echoes to Historia. Here, we share real stories from real people facing life's most complicated dilemmas. Give it a thumbs up if you think the protagonist did the right thing, and leave us a comment telling us, have you ever felt excluded by your own family? How did you handle it? Your story might help someone else going through the same thing. We'll read you in the next story. Remember, the family you choose can be stronger than the family you were given.